There you go.
All right, hit the fan.
Back to sweating, boys. Get to work.
Alright, take off for like 8 more. Stop, son.
Pretty much.
Oh, shit. I'm getting the big dog. Race it there. Go time back.
I'm glad you're right. Go ahead.
Open it up, dog.
Hey, so Let's Go Carl podcast. I'm Real Carl.
Little Carl.
Big Carl.
Wow, Carl.
Glad to be back. Missed last week. Looking forward to some good shit talking today.
We got us our Father's Day special going on. Minus one. Where's your dad?
Me told me he's leaving the house.
You've been waiting for this episode forever.
Yeah, I watched a little dot on my phone. I think it was hauling ass. He wasn't missing it. So,
Alright, so first off, I want to know what happened when you ran the street stop. What happened that night? Well, I thought thank the sponsor came at the end. My bad. Can you go ahead and thank the sponsor, Brandon? Jeez.
we got to thank RCP America, Barstow, Candace Keeley, and Brad from United Rentals.
There you go.
Thank
There
you.
we go. You're welcome.
Good. All right, go ahead.
Alright, yeah, I want to know what happened with the street stop when we was down in Ocala.
Well, first of all,
Hey, your dad's
so-
watching.
That's not a good sign.
Alright, sorry.
First of all, it sucked all night. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Racetrack was absolutely terrible in the heat races. It was dry and dusty in one corner, and one grew wide open in the mud in 3 and 4. We was running second, running good, and I guess, the 58 got a run on me down the back straightaway, and I'm looking over going, surely he's not going to drive it off in there in the slop and think it's going to stick. Well, he did. And it didn't. Well, it might have made me a little unhappy. So,
Yeah.
we voiced our opinion to each other with using our hands on the cool down lap. And coming off the racetrack, normally at the second heat race, you pull a pill for inversion. Normally they pull the winner to the side by the take shed, and everybody drive right on by as they're doing the pull. Well, we pull up, and they stop everybody.
Yes.
As soon as you crest the hill, well, I can't see shit as it is. Crest the hill, they're stopped in front of me. I locked the brakes up, and I barely tapped him. And, it was not a hard hit at all. Well, everybody's upset. He put his shit in reverse and backed up over my hood, and I, wide open throttled it up over his deck. So,
Hell yeah.
not my proudest moment.
That's a problem. Yeah.
Got it back to the trailer, and I decided we were going to go have a chat. And luckily, I got some good friends to talk me out of it. But I was extremely heated. Have not been that way in a long time, and I wasn't proud of it.
Pretty proud of you.
I'm
Pretty
not.
cool.
I'm not at all.
It could have went way worse.
Oh, it could definitely, but it didn't. I reached out to Matt, and we're cool. I understand racing gets heated sometimes. The funniest part was he told me that he would have been disappointed if we were pissed off at each other and he hit me in the back bumper and I didn't back over top of his shit. So I was like, all right, good point.
That's the thing, Matt gets it.
Yeah.
Matt's been around.
We raced against each other for a long time, and probably going to for a long time. So it is what it is.
Yeah, like I said, he messaged me and said you told him he was going to be a special guest on the show.
Yeah.
Which I should have known was a lie because he hates interviews. But then he said, no, I'm pretty sure he didn't say that.
We're good, man. I like Matt. He's a good dude.
He's
So, like I said, I
he's
wasn't
fun to
proud.
hang out with for sure.
I definitely wasn't proud of the way I handled the situation.
Dude, what a badass. Put that thing in reverse.
Screw you, begging. I mean, 10 years ago, everybody knows that I got heated really easily, and I'd act stupid on a regular basis. Probably one of the few people that's ever been called a raging lunatic by Al Varndorf. And we don't like that these days. Growing up a lot, so got young eyes watching. So
Bar said that pop car was digging.
Popcar was digging right up until it didn't. come feature time, man, we went back to the trailer knowing that it was going to be, just straight up dust for the feature. And obviously everybody here knows that's what I wanted. I was licking my chops.
Yeah.
We went back to the trailer and we changed every damn thing. I mean, I changed the right front shock, we changed springs, we did all kinds of shit. Changed stagger, and walk up there after intermission, and Al's got the damn water truck out there wide open, baby, just dumping it to it. Like, it's a seal over racetrack already, and we're dumping water on it. And I just could not believe that shit. And I mean, literally had puddles everywhere, down the front straightaway and the back straightaway. Like, and they're going, oh, it's already soaking in. What are you looking at? Because I see a damn lake.
That's why me and Zach left last night. We watched the heat races, and we saw the radar, and it started sprinkling. And I told Tom, I was like, yo, I'm leaving because that track's sealed over already. If the rain comes, it's over. It's glass. It's not going anywhere.
He tried cutting the track to that tire rolled off the beast. And then he went to get in the tractor to grade it, and then it started raining.
I mean, he tried.
And they called it. Yeah,
he tried.
They got in the mod light feature, the open wheels, and
They got started in the Warriors.
yeah, they were
said
starting the Warriors and was pacing, and then they pulled them off the track. But that Warriors race was gonna be good. It was a good car count.
So let's do a quick update. Thomas, what do you got to do in your car to go racing?
A lot. A lot. We're working on getting the motor back. We're gonna take a look at everything pretty much. I mean, look over everything, see what needs to be done, and get Brian's tire back today. He messaged me last night. He's like, give Josh that tire before you leave. I was like, all right, no problem. But yeah, we're just gonna take a look over everything, figure out what we want to change, and get the motor back in her, get her running good.
So I got news that all fours are going back to Bubba's.
Yeah.
They are going to race.
Well, let's see what happens. See if we can get her ready.
Josh, what's your situation over there?
Well, I'm looking for a block if anyone's got one. 350 Chevy block.
4-bolt main.
4-bolt main, two-piece rear seal. Can be bored a little bit, but not,
You don't want
under
another crate
30.
loader now.
Stock bore, 20 over, just not 30 over. But if anybody's got a block, let me know, because we got some months off to hopefully get the motor rebuilt and come back out stronger and see what happens from there.
Yeah. Steven, when you race next?
I think we made the decision. I'm probably going to go to Why Not in August. Been doing a little bit of research, talking to the promoters up there, and so as long as I can get funds secured, and that's probably going to be the plan, because I know BRP has street stocks on the schedule in July, but I honestly, if it looks like I'm going to go to Why Not, I'm just going to focus on that. I'm going to try to hang inside in the car.
I mean, dude, to make a show, why not? Okay, that's something.
So I'm gonna try that and see what happens.
Yeah,
Are there any other Florida boys going? Or are you going solo?
I don't know. I know Brian Morgan said that he was planning on taking a factory stock up there. I don't think he's taking a street stock.
What about Timmy? You going?
They said they don't want to go this year. So
Listen, that's party temper, bro. When you go like 5 times a year in a row, you get pretty exhausted.
but I mean, you get kind of burnt out when you go up there and get rained on almost every year too. So
Every time
not
I
looking
go.
forward to that. But there's a chance. It doesn't matter what you do.
The thing is, though, they will run to 5 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, like, look last night. I know a couple of people that actually stayed home last night and didn't show up because the weather looked like shit. Everybody watching every freaking weather app there was knew that there was a chance it was going to rain. And I know a couple guys that said, hey, to hell with it, I'm not going. And now they're kicking themselves in the ass. So it's the one thing that sucks, especially points racing. Because like, in my experience and with my luck, if I say to hell with it, I'm not going, they'll race. It never fails. So...
That's why I always plan on going. I don't care what the weather looks like. Unless they've called it, I'm going.
yeah, that's the only way you can, especially every points racing.
Yeah.
But everybody knows all that preparation, and everything. It sucks to get rained on. It really does. So, but maiden voyage with the new trailer worked out perfect, even though it was only 15 minutes from the house. Everything was great. So, yeah,
That Coy's
nothing
great.
wrong with that.
I got a $900 street stock, but I got a $30,000 trailer.
Shut up. And it's $1,000 street stock. Get your shit right.
Are you
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
sure you want to do this?
No.
We might be banned off Facebook at this point. All right, yeah, I guess we'll bring Daddy in.
Bring the pops in.
Oh.
That's your idea.
No, I'll break my only good chair we have left.
Hey man, he can hit his own race car.
All right, so all y'all know, this is my dad. This is Josh's dad. So, Rich and Richard. So,
How about 4 and 4?
that makes sense. So, I have a couple questions. Me and Josh have a couple questions. These go to both of y'all. Talk whatever you want. From racing to today's time to back in the day, what's the difference?
Good.
Money. You didn't have to have a lot of money to race back in the 80s. You built most of your stuff. You didn't go to race car engineering to buy anything. It wasn't a race car engineering. The only thing around was Tanner's. Donnie Tanner's Speed Shop. You could get special things there you needed that you couldn't make. Other than that, you went to junkyard and bought made it another scrap metal. Made it.
Right.
You know, now you can just buy everything. You can go to race car and just bring a race car back with you.
Yeah.
If you got deep pockets.
Right.
But that's the big difference, and the payout's still the same for our class.
Cars got more expensive.
Cars got way more expensive. You know, that's the only complaint I've got about racing right now is the payout is not where it should be for what we spend on cars. You know,
Yeah.
I agree with that. The difference is definitely the money. I know even back when we started with the go-karts with both these youngins, it wasn't as expensive as it is today.
you didn't have to have 25 sets of tires to go racing.
No, no, not at all. And, you know, like you said, you could build everything in your shop. I know my last race car that I raced, everything still had stock front end on it, and everything else was built, you know, by the fabricator or myself. And you know, I probably didn't have $30,000 on a whole brand new complete race car, and I thought I had something, you know. And
A good motor was maybe $1,000 at the most.
yeah,
From back in the day, couldn't you go to the junkyard and get your parts for your race car and go racing?
absolutely.
Go buy and get a block out of there and crank. Just go racing.
I'm
Go
not
get your block from the junkyard.
I'm not gonna tell you how many times I went to review auto wrecking over here off of Bullfrog Creek Road and pulled the engine out of a Ranger Saturday morning and put my head on it and went racing. You know, and could be competitive and had fun, and you know, didn't need 2 sets of tires, 3 sets of tires to go racing. And so, yes, today's day and age is definitely, it's terrible to say, but I believe we work for our kids to race, you know, and obviously we love it and enjoy it. So
What made y'all get us into racing?
I wanted to race, have my boys racing, and both of them turned out to be pretty damn good drivers. So I'm pretty happy with what's going on there. You know, they both succeeded in everything they've done so far. You know, they won a race in everything they drove so far. So I can't ask for any more than that. You know, it's just you know, I'm glad we did the go-kart thing. We made a bunch of friends through the go-kart racing, like you guys. Still together. Y'all actually moved on up through the ranks, you know,
But it was,
different ways, but you both got to the same place.
but now y'all think it's the worst idea ever we ever did that.
I mean, you can't beat the racing family. You really can't.
Yeah.
that I agree with.
You know, this guy may not like you this week, but if something happens to you, he's going to be there helping you.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you can't say about any other sport, I think, is the fact that Somebody may not like you, but they'll help you because they want to be able to beat you.
Right.
You know, so that's the biggest thing. And the biggest thing with racing now, nobody's doing their homework like they should. A lot of guys race and they complain that, oh, he's cheating. No, he's busting his ass all week, working on the race car, doing his homework. That's how you win races.
To make it better.
You know, that's one thing I taught Josh. We raced Saturday night. Sunday morning, that car's getting washed and looked over. So if you need something, you can fix it.
You hear that, Steven?
And he's been good at it.
I would say the reason our family got into racing, obviously racing's been around my family pretty much since East Bay's been open, since I was younger. Your grandfather always enjoyed auto racing, owned cars, and I raced when we were younger. And I think the racing started for our kids. East Bay opened the go-kart track, and maybe the first or second night, your mom and I decided we were going to go check it out, and we did. And the next day we called Aunt Joni and asked her to pull the old go-kart out of the storage that hadn't ran in I don't know how many years, and see what it needed. And we had a lot of friends that had been go-karting and racing, and it started with your sister, obviously, as far as my kids racing, and we pulled the old probe out, and Lori McCall's dad said right off the bat, I'll build your motors. You don't worry about no motors. And that's what Mr. Jones was talking about, the racing family. He had no idea whether we were going to be any good at it or whether we were going to, wait race one race and your sister wasn't going to like it. But, it worked out that a small group of people came around us and helped us get the go-kart together. And Lori's dad built us a motor and we went racing, and you ended up racing that same go-kart. I don't know, I think your sister was 9 when she raced, and I want to say she raced it for a year or two, and then you raced it, So I think we've just been around racing all of our life. That I knew how the racing family was, so I wanted you guys to see how the racing family came together. Like Mr. Jones said, you can be arguing with the guy next to you, on a Friday night racing, and the next day you can have your hood off and need something, and that same guy can come over there and go, hey, what do you need to go racing? And I think we've learned to do that, all of us. Hey, if I got it in my trailer, you can have it. And I think there's a lot of young people that hopefully the two of us have influenced to go the right way. I know there's 4 of y'all in this building that I've watched race and come a long way, and very proud of both of you guys.
I'm proud of all of them. And I think the Florida Champ Kart League was the best thing ever for our kids.
Terry Jr.
did a great job. Daniel Frey was involved with it. That was a lot of fun. We didn't go to the same racetrack every time. We went and traveled around a little bit, and we met a bunch of friends out of that deal. And you couldn't get no better racing. Nobody took each other out. You just raced.
Yeah.
If you made a mistake, you got passed.
Yeah, and it was good racing though, and it taught your kids. Everybody was really fast, and when it was fun to go other places with that same group and have other people come race against us, and to see how good our kids really have gotten racing against each other, and like you guys did with the slingshots, you found out, hey, we're not really behind. Florida racing is not really behind when it comes to that. I think the racing community needs more people to help each other. Yeah. I know. And not money, but how about I know I've opened the shop door to many young people, girls, guys, whatever, to come help. You know, Thomas's car sitting here. You know, I think it's come a long way. Biggins' car has been in here. You know, I think we've had as many as 5 or 6 race cars in here at one time that didn't belong to me. You know, but that's what it's about. You know, about helping each other. You know, it'd be nice to say, hey, I got all the money in the world, and I'm just going to go race with my kid. But you know, that's for the Lucas Oil guys to do because you know they have big sponsors and big money behind them. So.
Well, it's also fun when you're the little guy that you outrun the big money.
Oh yeah, and you can go compete. And we've learned we're the little money for sure. I mean, when we roll in to some of these bigger 602 and 604, you know, races, we're the little guy.
Right.
I mean, we tried to improve our program this year, and we took some time off. You know, Brandon got married at the beginning of the year, and we're very proud of that. But we took a step back to get our stuff together, to tear the car down, put every nut and bolt back in it, you know, buy a new trailer. And we're close. You know, the heartbeat went in this week. It takes a lot of, like you said, a lot of work, a lot of doing your homework, a lot of people to help you, you know. I think both these boys have learned that you can't do it by yourself. If you try, you're going to stumble, you know. So I'm proud of the way that our boys have went on the race.
I will say this: the slingshots was the toughest car I've ever set up in my life. That was nothing like any other race car we ever had or go-kart. Nothing close to it. It took me a year to figure it out, and once we figured it out, he won the championship, won the first race out, and was second the rest of the year because he had to start last, which I like that at Dirt Devils.
Yeah, Dirt Devils did that. The points leader starts in the back every week.
Started last every week. And
Well, let me ask you a question, Josh. What was it like to drive something that had half the horsepower and half the tire?
It was different. You know, like you said, it has half the horsepower, so with the street stock, you feel like you're going faster, and I feel like I had more time to think about what I was going to do in the Outlaw 4, which is probably not a good thing. But
Can I tell you, lap time wise, you're probably not far off from street stock.
that's what I heard. It just,
But you do feel like you have to drive it different.
yeah, you do
you know,
have to drive it different.
A lot more momentum thing. I think the slingshot and the go-karts are a lot closer to what you did, you know, last Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, if it stepped out a little too much, it was really hard to hold on to. I feel like the street stock, if it steps out, you kind of have that steering and everything to catch yourself and not make a small mistake being turned to a big mistake. With Outlaw 4, a small mistake is a big mistake.
Yeah, oh yeah. You had some big shoes, Phil. You know.
Yeah.
There's some big shoes that sit in that seat for sure.
Did you like that Fat Boy flap?
Yeah, it was nice.
Something I want to tell you, I was obviously sitting next to your dad most of the weekend, and when you know, as dads, we get nervous, just like you guys do. So when we went up to the track the first time and you were in the car, you know, he's pretty quiet, and but as you made laps, he got better.
Yeah.
You know, and you did a great job, obviously, in a car you never drove. You know, obviously a great car that Brian Sykes owns. And I think you had a good team. You know, I think Brandon and Zach and everybody with, you know, and even fellow drivers like Thomas were, you know, with you. And I think Vernon was a little worried a couple times. You know, so I want to congratulate Vernon and obviously Ronnie for the way they've turned their program around this year and doing well in that class. You know, and everybody knows Ronnie is a big part of our racing program, so we want to thank him for sure.
Yeah. When did y'all know we had it? Like, when did y'all know y'all wanted to spend the
Who said
money?
you had it?
We're still trying to figure that out.
When did y'all know y'all wanted to keep us in it instead of playing baseball and playing football? Like, y'all knew we wanted to race.
Well, baseball turned into too many politics. I'll be honest with you. It was garbage.
Yeah, there was a year we tried doing both, racing on Friday and baseball on Saturday, and it was. We both had more fun racing than baseball.
Yeah, I set the boys down. What do you want to do? Race or go play baseball? They both said race. And you know, I made some good friends in baseball. Don't get me wrong, but I had nowhere near the fun of having racing. And as far as them knowing, well, this one here, I knew when he wouldn't hardly let out the throttle, all I had to do was slow him down and he'd be okay. You know. So he's come a long way. He impressed me last week. I wasn't expecting what he did to do, and I knew he could probably drive it, but when he ran like he did, I was very proud to, you know, proud of both my boys. You know.
I think when you get out of your comfort zone, like Josh did, you know, obviously you guys build a street stock together. But I think when you get out of your comfort zone and in a different race car, it does tell you the talent that your son has.
Yeah, because they're two totally different race cars. That, you know, the Outlaw 4 has a lot more body movement. It hikes up the lifter and gets up on kind of like a late model does. Whereas the street stock, you know, it rolls over on the right front a little bit, but not nearly as much. And
It's a different race car.
with a street stock, you can use both pedals to turn a street stock. I feel like you really have to focus on the throttle to make an Outlaw 4 turn.
Yeah.
When did I know? Well, your sister was definitely the athlete in the family. Obviously, we played softball all over the country with her, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. And she still loves to do that. She, you know, helps young girls and stuff. So I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. But she wanted to race too, you know, like you said. And obviously, we stuck with softball because it got Brittany through college and got her education, and she played, you know, did very well in college. But you know, and I've always told my kids, if you start something, I want you to finish it. If you start a season something, I want you to finish it. You know, if you start a season of baseball, then let's finish it. But if you don't want to play, then let's not start it. You know, and Brandon played sports. You know, played basketball, played football a little bit.
You can say I played.
You know, and
Is
when did I know?
I'm not very athletic.
No, he did play. I mean,
He did setting track and field, but shot put.
And we got to put the water boy in.
and he did, you know. But I always knew his heart was here, you know. So, and you know, my sister always says, we should get rid of that shop when we, you know, and scale down. But they don't realize how much camaraderie happens when you open that door. You know, there's times it's just me, Brandon, and Zach, or there's times when you never know who's going to show up through the door. So I probably knew he ran his first race, I think, when he was 5, and he ran off the racetrack at East Bay into the ditch. And we parked the go-kart for about a year, put it in the corner, and his sister raced, and he got to go watch his sister race. And it wasn't because I didn't want him to race. But I wanted him to be ready when he wanted to race. And he finally got to where he wanted to go over there and uncover the go-kart and look around and see what was going on. And we decided it was time to let him try again. And when he went back, he was a little more older, a little more mature. And, you know, he went out and he did really, really well. Stayed up at the pack, wasn't trying to run through kids, knew when to turn. And, so, you know, do I think you can start them too early? Yeah, absolutely. But do I think you know when they're ready? Yeah. And I probably would say you was about 6, Brandon, when I knew that you were going to be ready to race. You know, obviously there's other moments in your racing career that's been big, but that's when I knew you were ready to go race.
Yeah. What is y'all's proudest moment all time? One memory you go to that makes a dad proud.
His street stock run.
Really?
The amount of time we spent in the shop. Had a lot of good friends help us.
Yeah.
But took 3 years to build it. 3 races to win. And I thought I like them numbers.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Could have been worse. Could have been 3 years to win,
Yeah.
but we didn't. I got to thank John Bradley though. He got me back on the right page. He's been a huge help for Josh. John
Both
Bradley.
with the car and with me. He's taught me how to drive the car a lot.
John Bradley has coached him and taught him, and like John told me, Josh listens to him, and that means a lot. You think last week he asked Nick what line to run. Nick showed him on a piece of paper. He followed that line. He was fast.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't, think you're bullshitting them when you tell them something.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what made all of us proud last week. Of what Josh did was not only was he in a new race car, a new environment, he was at a new racetrack he hadn't been to. And I think we were all more nervous than you were, Josh. I'm gonna tell you that right now. We were. Well, no, because you don't know.
Yeah.
You could have went out there and said, "Man, this crash sucks," But it looked like by the end of the night you were having fun, you were racing, and that's what racing should be about, is having fun.
To be honest with you, I wasn't really nervous after Hot Lots.
Yeah.
I was nervous before Hot Lots because I was afraid to knock the wall down. Everybody else had said, afraid for. Because I know him. He's going to figure out a way to go fast and go wide open. And he figured it out.
Well, we did have the one segment of Steven, do not go wide open to 3 and 4.
Do not.
Yeah.
Go wide open to 3 and 4. Do you understand?
I'd say my proudest moment.
Brian, don't do that.
They cry the whole time, dude.
I don't know if there's just one, but I'd probably say when you were real young and it finally clicked. There's a lot of wins, obviously, that I'm very proud of. Your first one in your Outlaw Ford, your national championship. But probably when we raced the Florida Champ Kart League, there was some real good competitors, and probably one of the first times we won in that series was memorable. We're all very proud, and obviously the last memory was your big win in the late model of Volusia. So most memorable, well, I'm old, so that's the one I remember the most. But the most proud is just the one that we've accomplished.
I can tell you this as a driver is, winning at East Bay, I won at East Bay. That's our home track. But the win at Volusia against some badass, late model drivers, well, I had to win that race twice to begin with. Because I crossed the checker and they throw yellow and then we go back green flag. But I knew we were fast when he's over here telling me, calm the fuck down, you got it, this race. When I crossed that checker, I started crying. I'm crying now, but anyways. It felt good, for you and your dad, get it done. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that first streak start, it didn't feel real.
Yeah.
If you go back and listen to the interview, I was like, I can't believe I'm standing here right now because I thought it would be a long time before I picked up my first one. And to win at East Bay special, man, I've been going there as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
My first memories are walking through the pits with him and, of course, stopping at every race car because Dad knows everybody. And being like, Dad, can we go watch the races? Yeah, we go to the next trail and he stops again. I'm like, but,
Yeah, I did torture you a little bit for that.
which was funny when I took Jarrett last time to the races and I was doing the same thing to him. Every time I walk by a trailer, somebody's like, hey, start talking
Dude, I
to
used
him.
to hate that. I used to hate, you got stuff here, you're talking to this guy for 45 minutes. I'm just ready to go home and go eat. So,
But that's the people that help you, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta talk to everybody. That's what I've taught him. Only way not to get a sponsor is not ask for one.
Right.
You don't point blank ask them, hey, will you sponsor me? You talk to them. How's business going? You get to be friends with them. Then they show interest, then you can ask them.
Right.
Worst thing they do is say no. I've been told no hard times at least.
I can tell you this, Josh. It don't matter how many times I win. I still cry. It don't matter. It's so damn exciting. And sitting in here, you got your people in here getting the car done, and the laps are going down, and you're like, finally it paid off. You did your damn homework. That's what I like about it. I like the family aspects of it. Being in here, it's hot as hell. But a lot of our friends don't race. Zach don't race. He busts his ass in here just for me to run 20 laps.
He has raced.
But you want to call that racing? But he don't have to do that. Like a lot of our friends don't have to do that, and they do it for us, and that's what I like.
Well, he didn't have to help me at all last week, but he offered his help. And was
Well, he told me he
good.
wasn't working on 72 because he got a shout out the past weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom, you gotta take care of your people, man.
So,
Yeah, and like he talking about Brittany, Jarrett, he's a wheelman too.
yeah,
I can't complain. Unfortunately, he got MS,
yeah.
and it's parked.
He's better, brother.
I don't know about that.
Well, I can say that.
Well, I think they're both awesome. And he won the championship the last year he raced, and I thought, well, that's the way to go out. Go out champion.
Well, one thing I want to go over is y'all's different roles as you progress through racing. I mean, Dad, I know you raced a little bit. You was a crew chief for a lot of people, and even a series official. So you've been all over the racetrack.
I've seen both sides, and like I said the other day, I think every racer should be an official one time.
Yeah.
And see the opposite side of it. And then once you see the other side of it, when the racer's coming at you about stuff, you understand it a little bit better, and you think twice before you go run your mouth at the next official. It opens your eyes. I learned a lot.
Yeah, bacon.
Yeah, I agree.
And when I was running the slingshot series, if whoever messed up, I told him. If it was he messed up or Jared messed up, I wasn't afraid to tell him, hey, I'm not that dad that's going to say, don't worry about it, son. It was his fault. No. If he messed up, he messed up. But neither one of them really messed up very often.
I'm getting older. When you just crash your shit, they're not like mine's not as bad anymore. He goes, you're a damn idiot. That's all he says now. Like you don't go, why'd you do that? He goes, you're just an idiot. While I was younger, I did something. What the hell? What are you doing?
Well, now we can afford to fix it. It's not coming out of their pocket no more.
Well, now, whoa.
Your car. When you gonna teach Brandon that?
I tried, man.
It is fun spending your money than mine.
Yeah.
It's fun spending my dad's money.
But walk us through, because you've worked with some good drivers. Anthony Stewart was one
Anthony
of,
Stewart got me into it.
and we still work with him today.
He's got a Mod Light that I help him with now. Then I worked with David Kelly. He ran a mini stock, won the championship there. I helped him with, I just showed at the track like Zach does and helped. I didn't get to work on the car, but I was there to help him out at the track. And that's more important than actually working sometimes, all the time. There's that little help at the track. And then I helped Jamie Burrows for a little bit, a few races, not a lot. And then Buddy Wisham brought me in. And then I worked with Mike McGinney. We had a car together with another, and they had a falling out. And then, it was kind of strange. Bobby Dixon was the badass back then, okay? And I was a nobody. Absolutely nobody. I was just a guy in the pits,
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know Mike McGinney with the fallout. He told Bobby to call me. Well, Bobby Dixon called me, and I worked with him. We won championships together, races together, and I learned a lot. Bobby Dixon taught me how to win, and it's in the shop.
Yeah.
I was at his house 7 days a week, and it was usually from morning to night, and we worked and worked and worked, and that's when I realized, he's a badass driver, but he also works on his shit, and that was, and the same thing with Buddy Wisham. I was at his house all the time with his dad. Work. Well, I worked, they argued. That's what was funny. Was Buddy and his dad, they'd be sitting there arguing about something, I'd be finished. We were putting the motor in one day, and I'd say, it's ready to fire. And they'd be like, what? So, you know, I've worked with a lot of good people, and fortunately for me, everywhere I've been, we've won. And then, but more prouder is when you take your kids and win.
Right.
That's when, you know, all that stuff you did for 30 years is paying off.
Absolutely.
You know.
I've helped people too. Obviously, I've been around racing all my life and raced and, you know, been around Keith, Nozovich, and Jackie and them a lot, you know, and they've been a big help with the late model, giving us advice, talking to Brandon, you know, I mean, back on Joe Melnick's sprint car when we worked on it, you know, I mean, there's numerous people I can name too, but I agree with you when it's your own kid or your own son or daughter, it's a whole lot more. I think it brings more joy to you. I mean, you know, William and Hampton and I won multiple championships together. You know, Keith won. Me and Ronnie worked together on Keith's car and won multiple, you know, championships with him, won nationals with him. But when you come home and it's your son or your daughter that you won with, it's a whole lot more glory to me, I think, and proud.
And like you, John, you help a lot of people. I like back one day at work, I seen this guy in the parking lot had a monopod. It was like a tractor, but it was a monopod. And I asked him, I said, "Where you running at?" He goes, "Sunshine." I said, "Okay." I said, "What's it doing?" He goes, "It pushes like a freight train." I said, "Okay." So I went over and helped him, and the first night I set it, we brought it to my house and we set it up. We went out there and it turned out to be a 50 lapper. And he won the heat race and started on pole for a feature and led all 50 laps with that tank. This thing was a tank, but it handled. And that was a proud moment too, to help somebody, some complete stranger that you didn't know. And another thing I've done too is with Larry Alderman, he had the late model Bobby drove for him. I learned a lot from that man too, because there's a guy in Rhode Island who was on AFCO racing, and he was asking for help. Well, I emailed him personally. I didn't want to talk about it on there. And he sent me all the setup stuff, and I sent back, "Try this." And he won the 50 lapper up there at
Seacon.
Speedway. I got the picture of the shop.
Which, if you've seen that track, it's about the size of the shop.
Yeah.
It's tiny. They run those winged midgets on there a lot.
Yeah. He sent me a picture, but I opened to check the picture up, and empty, nothing in it.
Right.
I was like, "Oh, I ain't doing nothing." You know, I figured there might be something in it, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff that you don't keep up on. You know, like we talked about how the race cars have evolved. There's a lot of new technologies, but nothing takes place with the hard work that you put in. And you know, I've always told Brandon to run one local night of racing, you got to put 30 hours in a race car in a week. And you know, obviously his mama and his aunt and his sister and all them, we've sacrificed a lot to go racing. A lot of hours in the shop. You know, you have the perfect setup. You walk out back in your shop right there. You know, and that's still our goal someday. You know, our shop's about 15 minutes from all of us, I think, and so it's you know, so we're here a lot of nights till 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. But I believe you got to put the work in to just be competitive, not so much win.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, or you can be big and then work on a Friday night.
Ain't gotta win, son.
And get lucky and go win.
Won a lot of races like that, right?
But I will say that Biggin has put in the work. There ain't no doubt. He's
At the buffet.
you know, like I said, all the boys that do this podcast is, you know, they've all been like sons to me, or you know, good friends, and I'm proud of what they're doing. I think the little podcast thing is good for them. It's cool that they talk about racing. It's cool that they kind of bust each other's chops on here. You know, I'm proud that they've kept it going so far. You know, it could have very easily just said, "Oh no, we ain't got time. We're done." You know, but they find an hour out of the weekend to come together and do it. It's pretty cool the way they've went places. You know, even when they weren't racing. other racetracks just to support. And I believe that's important. Local racetracks are dying, and if people don't support them, they're going to keep dying. You know, and we all can't afford to go run Lucas Oil and you know the Why Not show. You know, so if we don't keep local racing going, it's going to be tough. I mean, I know the big question around here is what's going to happen, but nobody's going to know until it happens. Right. You know, but I believe you guys showed good support for Kansas. Maybe it wasn't what you wanted, but it also was a summer night, 80% chance of rain, like Big and talked about. So you know, some people. Here's the thing: a lot of people don't have the money to get through the gate, but they spend it. So they think there's a chance that they're not going to get nothing back, even if it's their start money. They're not going to take that chance, you know, and it's understandable. So,
Joe, if I can tell you this, the older I get, you know, the more questions I have on setups and shit like that. I would tell you this: write everything down. Because, you know, Dad's ain't gonna be a pro, you know, and many times I call him, I don't want to call him because, like, damn it, you know, like, I tell him I'm a fucking badass late ball driver and shit like that. And it's simple stuff like, you know, change the cross on a damn go-kart. You just get mixed up and you call him and it's like, why did I write this down? So the biggest thing to me, like, I write everything down, put it in your phone, you know, because that shit, you know, you're gonna need it one day. That's my biggest thing.
Well, Dad's got everything written down, but he don't label none of the numbers. He just knows where they're at. But you know, I think what's cool is, you know, about the time I was born, you was helping Jeff Conyers, and now I get to race against him. So I think that's pretty cool. And then, you know, Anthony Storr, his nephew helps us out. Steve Townsend, you've been a huge help to us. So it's pretty cool. People that you've worked with are now, you know, my competitor or someone that helps me out.
It's like with the photography business.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have found Billy Barstow and Matt Bozeman without the go-kart racing photos. We've met a lot of good people through racing photo business that we did. Made a lot of friends. I think everybody's your friend. That's what I taught him. And when you're in business to sell stuff, everybody's your friend. You may not like them, but you ain't got to tell them that. And you don't let them know that. You just treat every person the same. They all got $10 in their pocket bills. Give it to you if you do good work. And you know, I'm glad Matt Bozeman called me to come help him. You know, we became good friends. Billy Barstow, we wouldn't be where we're at without him. He's helped Josh a ton. You know, just things he does. It's not even money related. Just things he does for us. You know,
I can tell you the racing family, like you said, we were talking about the baseball and softball. We had, obviously, we traveled the country with families, you know, softball, playing softball with Brittany. And become a tight-knit, you know, but you're talking about maybe 12 families, you know, that you travel the country with. But the racing family is weird because you can, like Josh said and Brandon said, Joe, you know, we ride through the pits on our golf carts and you can just about stop at every trail and talk to somebody that's been there. And, you know, maybe there was a guy that you fought with 10 years ago, but he sees you, you know, goes out of his way to say hello to you and talks to you, and you know, and that's the how the racing family is, you know. And obviously, our big sponsors, you know, have come from the racing family. You know, Mike and Cherry Lamb and RCP America is phenomenal to us. You know, Kansas Keeley, you know, came from obviously racing and is a big part of our family now. You know, All Pro Gas come from racing. You know, Brandon met in Austin, you know, racing go-karts. And same way with the Brandon Wheeler and Melissa Wheeler that help us. You know, they come, we met them through other people in racing, you know, and so it's just, said, it's funny how you don't ever know who you're talking to or how they can help you or if they will help you. But 9 times out of 10 they will, you know. And
Well, that's reminds me of the story that we went to the park with the slingshots, and this little 5-year-old boy just walking along. Oh, Dad, look at the gator car. I'm about Josh's slingshot. And I stopped him and said, "You want to take a picture with the driver?" "Can I really?" So I went and got Josh, and he took a picture with him. And then I printed out 8x10, and I gave it to that kid. I had Josh give it to him. I said, because you don't know who that kid's grandfather is.
Yeah.
We didn't get nothing out of it, but it was just the fact that you never know.
made that kid's day.
It made the kid's
one
day.
thing, and then
You know?
and you don't ever know who you're talking to, and it's terrible. So none of us do this for money. Because if we did it for money, we'd all be in trouble.
Well,
you know.
the shirts I did it was just for the kids. You know, I didn't charge what everybody else charged. I should charge a lot more, but I didn't. But because one guy told me, "Oh, you need to do a $50 art fee every time."
Yeah.
But when you got a single mom comes up there with a little boy wanting a shirt, how can you tell them $50 art fee up front? I mean, you can't do that. You just bite the bullet and do the artwork for them. They buy a shirt, you're happy, they're happy. It's all about the kids, and I think that makes the kids better. You know.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You read some of these comments that even when we're not here, the comments, obviously people, are busting your guys' balls sometimes, but they're also praising you for what you do.
Well, we're busting the balls.
Yeah, it's going to be us busting their balls. That's our job, right?
Yeah.
Billy Howard put on here, I appreciate Big John on this day. Won my first go-kart race and his first stock car race with him. Obviously, there's another, what I'm talking about, friend of the family through racing. The Howard family's been around for a long time. Our hearts and prayers always go to the family, the Howard family on Father's Day, because Big Bill lost his dad coming from the races. But there's somebody that you always know when you walk through the gate, he's going to speak to you.
Well,
and that's the racing family that I want to be around.
you talk about people talking to you just out of the blue. Well, one year, we're at the Brandon Mall, me and the boys shopping for Michelle. Buzzy Rubin's walking through the mall. He stopped and talked to us. I'm like, wow. That was impressive. But he knew who I was, but for him he's an icon legend. He don't have to give me time of day. But that man stopped and talked to us. That was, that meant the world to me. That wow, he actually stopped and talked to me.
But people don't. It's good people like David Ruderman and stuff. They don't forget where they come from.
No, we went to.
It's easy to do.
We went to David Ruderman's shopping, 18 with the All-Star race.
Yeah.
And he invited us over to come see him. Went to the shop. We sat and talked racing for 3 years.
Yeah.
3 hours. I mean, not 3 years. It felt like 3 years. I could have talked with him for 3 years. I'll tell you that much. He was awesome. He told us a lot of stuff about NASCAR that, was interesting. But talk about down to earth. I mean, most NASCAR drivers are down to earth. I mean, Tony Stewart was down to earth person. I talked to him at Lakeland and Pitts, and talked to him, and he was just down to earth. And I've known, Kenny Wallace.
Kenny Wallace was the best.
If you want to have a good time, go. And we were walking by, and we had Kenny Wallace shirts on, and he seen us, and hey, y'all come here.
Yeah, we seen he had people around. We was like, well, we're not going to bother him right now. And he goes, that makes me so happy that you guys are wearing my shirt. Come over here. And we went and talked to him for a little bit.
Yeah. But he's, when it's time to go racing, he told us, look, I ain't going to try to get my race head straight. But he's a nutcase. You've seen his videos on Facebook and all that. That's the real Kenny. There's only one Kenny Wallace, and that's him. He's no different anywhere else. I wish he'd come back to Florida and race, but he was a hoot to talk to.
What's your other question, son?
Yeah, you got any more?
That's all I got, Joe.
I got some stories I'd like you to tell. How about the time you used a light pole to fix a race car?
Oh, God. Yeah, we're at Citrus County Speedway. My buddy Greg Edwards got it modified. and gets in a wreck, tears the back bumper loose on the car. It's pointing almost straight. So me and the guys are sitting there pushing on it. We can't move it. I look, there's a light pole right by the grandstands of the pits. I said, Greg, on the radio, floor it, put it in reverse and floor it. What? I just floor it. He backed in there, smacked that pole, put that bumper back in place, and went back out and finished 10th or something. You know, there's a bunch of modifieds there.
Yeah.
So to get back in the top 10 was amazing, and it was fun. And of course, the people in the stands went too through because that pole was going like this, and I didn't care. I mean, I just do. That's that was my job. Was one night at Ocala when it was asphalt, the clutch was slipping. He comes over, the clutch was slipping. I said, next caution, meet me at the concession stand. He said, what? I said, meet me at the concession stand. He's, all right. I went to the concession stand. I said, I'm going to large coat, no ice. We got an inspection hole in the clutch.
Yeah.
He come in there. We took the hood off. I poured the Coke in there. I said, bump it over as I'm pouring. And he soaked that clutch with Coke. Mm-hmm. Went out and finished the race. Yeah. We were running for points. If we finished last, we ended up finishing second points that year. But if I hadn't made that stupid, goofy-ass decision to try something, just so you know, Coke does work for slipping clutches.
I'll never forget, we were, when Bill Howard had his late model, we were helping Billy and Scott and them, and he went to go back out for a big race at East Bay, and car wouldn't start. Bill Howard would be, John, you got to get in there and knock on the starter, knock on the starter. So I knocked on the starter. And I stuck my head in the window and I said, Bill, all I ask is if you win this race, we get it started next week. Well, we didn't get a brand new one, but we did get one rebuilt. So, it's just little things that you do like that make things go, Their kind of running joke around this shop is, who's my hero? Dad, who's your hero? Well, I put him on today. Jonathan Davenport's on the shirt.
Jackson's damn hero.
And Kyle Bronson, that we all are, I'm sure, proud of, because he came from right around here, are some of my racing heroes. But
I got a quick funny story about Bronson. We was up at Ocala helping Barstow and them, and we had started running low air pressure in the left rear, and he come over and he goes, hey, your left rear's flat. I said, no, it's good. He goes, you sure? I'm like, it's good. And he just looked at me like, what is this guy doing?
6 pounds of air. He'll look flat all day long.
Yeah.
But I will say he don't hear much, but my true hero is my son.
You got another one?
He's over there. But now, the 4 boys that sit at this table every Sunday, you got the heroes.
Damn, Tom, you're the hero!
There's probably a few tractor tires that are my hero. I will say, Brandon, I'm proud that you pulled Thomas out of that car, man. It takes guts to do that, man.
Well, what's funny is we're at Wendy's, and my mom's like, what were you thinking? I'm like, I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking with my friends in there, I need him the fuck out. That's what I was thinking.
It's times like that you show you're a true friend and you really support everybody, man.
She's like, you could have got burnt. Well, it's better than him being all burnt up, you know?
I thought his arms were going to be burnt for reaching into the fire.
That couldn't run that fast.
That's what they
All I remember is seeing Brandon full speed to me. Zach stopped because he didn't know if I was going to keep rolling or not. He just stopped and then came back.
He's still on, just coming right off. Turn 2, coming in hot.
I will say that fire added
Really
some more amount to Thomas's bill. Burn up a set of my brand new shock covers.
Thomas ain't never gonna play that bill.
Yeah, but we all got it. We give Thomas shit about tractor tires. When we walked out of the infield and seen the tractor tires were gathered around the hole away from the racetrack, it was like, we all laughed.
We knew it.
We knew why they were there.
They got scared.
They were scared as shit.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas, I needed a caution, but not like that.
You got it.
I don't know. Him getting that red flag, we worked the track for you.
Yeah.
That
Got
did
some
help.
moisture down there.
That did help. And that's one thing I do like about Bubba's track is they got a little machine to tilt the track. You know, I wish East Bay had that stuff. That track would be a whole lot better because when they got dusty like that, he could go out there and chill it up. And put a little water on it, put a little moisture on it, and be bad fast every
I
day.
give Bubba and them credit because from the pictures I seen Friday night, you just thought they would have never got to race. And
Yeah, I woke up Saturday convinced we weren't racing.
And I mean, I heard a little bit of the show before I got here. Josh talking about, a true racer is just going to show up, not going to look at the weather. Big Steven said there's 18 different weather apps out there.
Well, the thing
Listen,
is,
if you're a racer, you're going to get in your truck or whatever you're driving, and you're going to go to the racetrack. And that's, if you live in Florida and you want to race, you're going to show up because I know that every time we've decided, we're not going to go, we end up hearing about who won.
Well, and especially in Florida, rain's weird. I mean, I remember being at East Bay for the go-kart races, and it was raining on one side of the catch fence and the other side, but there was not a drop inside the racetrack.
Yeah.
See, you never know with Florida rain where it's going or what it's going to do. It might rain for 2 minutes and be done.
Josh, you got anything else there?
I can tell you this: the weather definitely attributed to the lack of car count for the race last week.
Oh, yeah.
Because
But
the
also-
fact that one guy who was planning on coming, it's like you're looking at the weather. It's like, listen, I got a street stock sitting on Jackson at this race right now. I got out all for it. I'm 15 minutes from one place and I'm 2 hours from the other.
Yeah.
And the decision was made. Like, if we're going to get rained on, at least I'm going to be 15 minutes from the house.
And you can't blame me for that.
No.
No.
So, I mean, everybody understands that. So.
I got a couple quick things something cool I seen. Well, it didn't start off cool, but somebody had their truck, trailer, and race car stolen, and the family dog was in the truck. Well, they ended up finding the dog sitting in the seat of the race car. And, pretty crazy. I mean, I tell you, this was my dogs would have left that car there. They don't know. That dog was smart. That dog stayed right there with the race car. And they ended up finding everything eventually, but the first thing they found was the race car with the dog sitting in the seat. So, another thing I wanted to cover last night. So, the mini stocks were out there racing, and they kept saying, we don't know why this person's car's not coming up on transponder, because they have the ticker going through, and like, they should be here, but they're not picking up at all. Well, they found out what happened was another competitor jumped in that car and put his transponder on that car without telling nobody. So that got himself DQ'd. But yeah, that was I've never seen somebody just jump in a car and not tell an official. So he ended his night early. I think that was.
I know we didn't, y'all thought we were just going to come on here and bust y'all's chops and everything. But God, dog, son, we all know you drive late model. Who cares? And Dad can say that because he does foot the
That's
bill.
where the jackass came from.
And God knows we bought him a new helmet this year, and I'm not even sure if that one's going to fit.
Got port power.
Yeah, I seen him working on the seat the other day. I don't know if Ronnie thinks he gained some weight and he stretched the seat out, or he was just
You had to move that steering wheel forward from that gut.
trying to put we moved the dash forward so his knees don't hit.
Probably have to reverse the steering wheel around.
Oh, baby, Steven kid over there.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Boy. Listen, I see Big Steven drive a mini cup.
Well, one other quick thing I want to cover, that All-Star Circuit of Champions race last night was phenomenal. It was at Portsmouth, and they might as well call it Slide Job City.
My dad's been there, says it's a badass racetrack.
Dude, Justin Pett threw a double slide job for the lead. He went in the corner third to come out with the lead, and then ended up shredding the left rear
Where
tire.
was it at?
Portsmouth.
Yeah,
But-
we were there for the Dirt Track World Championship last year when Garrett Smith won.
Pay attention to that car show race. Last lap pass.
That place is it's pretty unique. We had never been there. We thought, where's the racetrack? And you kind of come out of Kentucky and you come into Ohio and you're coming over this bridge, and all of a sudden you look down and there's a racetrack. Literally 4 or 5 months out of the year, the racetrack is underwater. Like the Ohio River flows over it. Everything at the racetrack, from the stands to all the concession stands and everything, is at least 4 feet tall. it's you know, you walk up to everything because literally they said the river covers the racetrack. There's at least 3 to 4 feet of water on the racetrack, but it's a pretty neat place. It was, you know, another talking about racing family. We have a good friend, you know, Chris Wilson, races out of Kentucky, and he invited us up there to go to that, and that's how we got to go watch him race the modified up there. So I haven't watched sprint cars there, but just the dynamics of the racetrack, it seems like it would be
It was the best wing sprint car race I'd seen in a long time. Every lap there was a slider being thrown, and it wasn't uncommon for somebody to throw a slider and someone else to throw one on them and make two passes. I mean,
I give credit to where the Lucas Oil guys raced last night. That track was kind of crap on Friday, and they really turned it around on Saturday. And, Smoky Mountain, they turned it around and made it a racing racetrack. You know, them guys, and even the drivers were talking about how it became where they could run from top to bottom during the race. So, you know, that's what fans want to see. That's, you know, we all talk about what it takes to get through the gate to bring our race cars, but that's what I'm talking about, supporting your local racetrack. If we don't put fans in the stands, promoters don't care because they can't open the gates no more, you know, and so that's why I encourage everybody to tell your mom and dad, tell your grandmas and grandpas, tell your, you know, everybody that if they don't come to the pits, go sit in the stands, you know, and
well, that's why I like to, every time we go somewhere, I like to put on our Carl page, you know, hey, we got Carl's here, we got Carl's there, and just go support your local track. I mean, even if it's buying a Flow subscription or buying some kind of streaming, you know, whatever, anything helps. Getting eyes on the sport.
Flow's been big.
I'll tell you this, if I'm racing, the fans know I'm blocking that quarter panel off. Take that. So, listen, come on guys, let's get these sponsors, we'll close this thing out.
You want us to get out of the way now?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay.
I want to give a shout out to Big John too. You know, obviously huge testament to Brandon's racing career, but had a huge part of mine. Mama and John. I mean, I won my first championship with your motor in the car. Couldn't have done it without that. Had the opportunity to drive for y'all. Worked out of the shop many a night. Went go-kart racing with you guys all over the road. And can't thank you guys enough for everything y'all done for me. So happy Father's Day to you, John. Happy Father's Day to you, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Bill.
So,
Yeah, happy Father's Day to y'all both, even though Mr. Jones gave me the most shit of ever.
I treat you like a son, okay?
Hey, I appreciate it. No, but I gotta thank Big John too. He's been helping me a lot recently, and we're getting the car somewhere finally, and we're seeing the progress. And of course, I gotta thank Majestic Fabrications for helping me get started and keep afloat while Mr. John here has been helping me and taking over, and it means a lot. Couldn't do it without him. Happy Father's Day.
The damn word, bro, is like, every time I work, this thing's a piece of shit. So, Josh, man, what you got?
Yeah, I want to thank Barstow Motorsports, Tampa Test Kitchen, LaRoche Towing, Tosca Roofing, Fatback Racing Engines, Boyd Fabrication, Multi-Roll. You know, it takes a lot of support to get this car going every week. And hopefully we can get out there and make our sponsors proud later on.
You know, without these sponsors, we couldn't do this show. We couldn't do what we're doing. You know, RCP America, Barstow, you know, Kansas Keeley, and we got Brad from United Rentals. Without them, they give us the momentum to keep doing this.
Yeah.
You know, and people, you know, I mean, we got Keith Nosbridge coming up, and we got the Fatback Brothers coming up, and you know, man, that's a cool show. You know, that's what we love. So, I mean, that's all I got.
Brandon, is it true?
What?
Is it true what your aunt says?
What's she say?
It says when John grabs your helmet, you know it's on.
yep.
You ever had your helmet grabbed?
Yeah.
Plenty of times.
I think he's had his helmet grabbed by more than just you though. So.
You can stay back there. Yeah, but who got my crotch strap?
Yeah, so.
All right.
Gee.
So,
That's
I'm
all
going to say happy Father's Day to all the other fathers out there.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching the Boys' podcast.
I got to give a shout out to my sponsors as well. Road Trekker Service, SD Graphics, Tampa Home Total Home Improvement of Tampa Bay. Just can't thank them enough. Randy and Doug Johnson. If it was not for Randy and Doug, my racing career would not be anywhere where it's at today. those two guys, they put in more time on my stuff than I do.
Yeah, quick shout out to Doug for loaning me a steering wheel for the mini stock.
Brian Sykes, Brian revamped my racing career. To be honest with you, I was done. I didn't own a car, and Brian's become one of my best friends, and I can't thank him enough. I'm glad that Josh got the opportunity to drive the car to see what it's all about. But if it wasn't for Brian, I was practically done racing. He approached me out of the blue about driving his car, so happy Father's Day to him. Happy Father's Day to my own dad, my stepdad, to everybody out there. We enjoy doing this, and as long as you guys enjoy it, we'll keep doing it.
Is that Thomas' steering wheel?
Where?
Right there.
No, that ain't.
That's
Oh.
Doug's.
I was gonna say Thomas' steering wheel made him
Like I want
podcast.
to say, I purposely touched nothing on that race car because I wanted to know what your setup felt like. And dude, you got that car hooked up. That thing's on a rail,
Don't
man.
tell me that. It's damn
Oh,
helmet.
now his helmet won't fit.
So,
Oh, it don't fit now.
It's got a hard time.
It has a back flap. It's good.
happy Father's Day, and thank you.